Once is an occurrence, twice a coincidence, 3 times a trend. Renee Osterkamp is 3 for 3 in Best of Day honors, and as Apex Online Racing brings its Formula Renault 2.0 Season 10 championship to Phillip Island for round 4, the German wheelman will attempt to turn a trend into a foregone conclusion. Can he do it? We'll find out as all the live as it happen action comes your way here on the Global Sim Racing channel. G'day mates and welcome to GSRC's Countdown to Green as cyberspace flows into your place. Over these 15 streamy award-worthy minutes, GSRC will bring you all the storylines, all the stats and facts you'll need to fully appreciate the double-header format that consists of an initial 40-minute feature followed by a 25-minute sprint. GSRC will be here to bring you all the action as we count down to green here at Phillip Island for the 4th round of the AOR Formula Renault 2.0 Season 10 Championship. And here to do all of that, well, it's Soup and Crackers. Yours truly, Bill Soupson, joined way up in the press box to bring you our bird's eye view by my longtime AOR partner, Sean Crackers Ambrose. The hardest working man is Sim Race Broadcasting, Joe Peak, has director's duties, armed with cameras located, aimed, zoomed, and focused by GSRC's camera guru, Dougie Beard. A Quentin Tarantino movie, McDonald's French fries, Jennifer Lopez in yoga pants. You know what to expect, and you're never disappointed. The same thing can be said about Phillip Island. No matter what race car you put on it, excitement is a sure bet. Crackers, tell us a little bit about this place.
Soup, we are floating off the southeastern corner of Australia. This beautiful circuit here, Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit, has been here since 1956, and you know, it's fallen in disrepair a couple of times, but in 1988, a major refurbishment created the modern layout that the drivers are racing on today. It's a 2.7 mile, 12-turn course that will really separate the good drivers from the great drivers today. It has decreasing radius corners all over the place, some off-camber bends, and a few really gutsy sweepers that'll put the drivers' nerves to the test. Soup, you're flat out in several places here, but watch for drivers to get caught off guard in the corners like the Southern Loop and Lukey Heights, both very, very tricky. But to really give us a feel for what they'll be experiencing, let's head off for another GSRC lap around Phillip Island.
All right, we've got Scott Newton in the GSRC Formula Renault 2.0, so let's do a lap around Phillip Island. Coming down to Doohan, the front stretch goes a long way, so expect lots of drafting to cause side-by-side action into this fast sweeper. Thankfully, it's easily flat out. If they do hold it around the outside, they could have a leg up into the Southern Loop, where you might see passes completed. But this corner is off-camber, has a crest, and forces a dramatically late apex. Self-made errors will be common. Exiting off, get onto the power confidently and hug the left through Stoner. Then, stay on that side unless you intend to attack or defend. A great many of the passes attempted will likely take place here into Honda, but at the same time, it's very easy to outbrake yourself on entry and slither wide onto the escape road. From out of the corner, you'll switch sides right away to line up for Siberia. There's an uphill climb through this bend, and it's followed by a long period on the gas, so getting to the power as early as it'll grip is critical. You've now hit the backside of the course, and these weaving S's are essentially a straight in the Renault. Straighten them out as best as you can, and then hold off to the right on the approach to Lukey Heights. This long arc is blind, has a decreasing radius, and requires more breathing of the throttle than actual braking. Hold to the left over the top of the hill, and then brake for MG, but be aware of surprise attacks. Right away, the track switches back into the penultimate corner where you'll barely breathe the throttle and then floor it from here on out. The final turn is flat out, and with it leading you back onto the pit straight, leaving anything on the table in terms of top speed will make you vulnerable. Hopefully, you kept it all together and have now finished a lap around Phillip Island.
Joe Peak doing what nobody does any better, taking and talking us around a racetrack. Today, it was Phillip Island. Now, as promised, it's time for those stats and facts you'll need to appreciate what's coming up. So, Sean, before we can look forward to round 4, we should review the final results from round 3, where I think we'll find a familiar story.
Familiar indeed. You know, Renee Osterkamp scored 50 points in the first two events, Soup, so his 48 points at the ring almost kind of seemed like a day off. He has won 3 consecutive feature races. Now, while Osterkamp has been winning the best of day honors, his SimRC teammate Patrick Kessler has been coming home right behind in second place. Now, making his first appearance of the season was Positive SimRacing Green's Manuel Hoyer. A third and a fifth is worth 37 points to him. Oh, buddy Phil Reed followed his sixth in the feature with a third in the sprint to put Team AOR Orange fourth on the chart. And how about Josh Thompson? A ninth in the feature put him 11th on the sprint race starting grid. The Radicals Online driver knifed his way to the front and in a wheel banger with Glenn Key took the win by 1/1000th of a second. So, Soup, how has that all affected the point standings?
Man, I'll tell you, it was a lot closer in contrast to the close on-track action that we had. When it comes to talking about the race points, that's really not the case. As the rich keep getting richer, the SimRC boys of Osterkamp and Kessler expand their gap to everyone else and each other. Crackers showed you Phil Reed's third best at the ring, so while losing ground to the guys in front, the AOR Orangeman did strengthen his grip on third place. The only movement on the chart was Positive SimRacing Orange's Alexei Sorokin swapping positions with Stefan Herman for SimRC Retro. Let's go ahead and look at the team championships now. And to be honest, this commentator is finding it harder each week to keep reporting on these points and making them interesting. If things don't change, I'm considering wrapping this segment next round with crackers at my beatbox. Let's see what we got here today. We've been hammering home the point of how dominant Osterkamp and Kessler have been. So now you can see just how much that comes into play with the German and Swiss duet. They have a whopping 272 points and 156 points better than their nearest competitor. And the race for the bridesmaid spot is where the drama really begins there, and that's Russia's Alexis Sorokin and Lubomir Morris of the Czech Republic have jumped Positive SimRacing Orange up into the second position, I guess. The British combo of Phil Reed and Kerry Nolden fall down to third. 2 more Union Jacks fly in fourth thanks to AOR Blues. You got Summers and Morris still in that one there. But the team that has caught everybody's attention is the lean, mean racing machine of PSR Green. Rookie Glenn Key and veteran Manuel Hoyer have found the chemistry as they jump several positions. And in practice, Hoyer and Key were racing in 5th and 6th position. Look for them to be good here today as well. Crackers, Glenn Key's a rookie, and the AOR is always attracting new drivers to the series, but it doesn't end there with the drivers. With exciting finishes like we had last round, new viewers keep turning up to see what this series is all about. So with them in mind, let's go over these series details.
Welcome to Season 10, everyone. This is round 4 of 12. And yeah, those little drops of water mean there are 3 drop races throughout this season. And those will really come into play as we get a little deeper into these things. Now, today, we've got the doubleheader. It's the classic feature race, 40 minutes, and a 25-minute sprint race that will have you on the edge of your seat. The setups on the Formula Renault 2.0, well, they're wide open. That means crew chief and driver have dialed this car in to their liking for maximum effort here at Phillip Island today. And, well, Soup, if you wreck it, you bought it, because there are no fast repairs. Basically, you don't have any spare cars in the trailer to go to if you have an incident out there. Now, let's go to the race details for the feature. Again, it's 40 minutes. Now, the grid, well, it's being determined right now by qualifying. Just 4.5 minutes left. Renee Osterkamp on the provisional pole right now. They are going to need 1 pit stop in this 40-minute feature race. Not enough fuel on board to get it done. There is an incident cap of 15 points there. If you get anything over 15 X's, then you will disappear into the ether and your race is over. Now, the points, it'll pay 32 points to win this race. It pays all the way back to 20th, and we will re-grid. And now the grid in the sprint race is determined by inverting the top 20 as long as you're within 2 laps down. If you're more than 2 laps down and you find yourself in that top 20, then unfortunately you'll get to start behind everybody else on the grid when we get going.
Yeah, I want to drill down on a couple items, one being the pit stops and the other being the drop race. So let's start with the latter. When we talk about 3 drop races, that means you're actually dropping the entire event, which consists of a feature race and a sprint race. You don't get to pick and choose. So you drop your whole race weekend, basically. And then when it comes to pit stops, I did a little investigating on this because the rules have changed since GSRC was last on the scene here with the AOR Formula Renault 2.0's championship. The rules are that you can start with as much fuel as you like. The mandatory stop is you have to come in and change at least 2 tires, either 2 fronts or 2 rears. It's up to the driver. And they can do that anytime except the last lap. So that when it comes to pit window, Sean, it doesn't get much bigger than this. Anywhere from lap 2 to the last one.
Yeah. Yeah, Soup. Qualifying is just about wrapped up here, man. This has been quite a qualifying session. You know, Manuel Hoyer has gone to the top. We were talking about Osterkamp a little while ago. Hoyer on top now with a 124, and scratch that. Kerry Nolden just knocked it off. Knocked Manuel Hoyer there off the top, and now he sits there in the provisional pole with still 2.5 minutes left. You know, Soup, another observation I made practicing here, man, you are on the throttle here, and 7th gear comes into play in this Renault. First of all, the trip out of the last turn out of 12 and all the way down that front straight, you're flat out through Doohan, that sweeping right-hand corner. And then, of course, you've got to get the car slowed down through the southern loop. But it's about a 4th gear turn in this car, and you could still really kind of hammer it through there. So unlike a lot of the cars on the iRacing service, this Formula Renault, very grippy, and certainly this is the type of track where that grip will pay off for you. You still got to be careful, though. It is 82 degrees, and the track will continue to heat up as we go on. But, yeah, this is going to be a fast one today. It's going to be blinding fast.
As we look at Robert Sugar Plumley on the track right now, sitting in 23rd position. You talked a little bit about the track temperature. Let's go ahead and look at that a little more in detail there, Sean. Let's see what the weather is like.
Well, it's only 73 degrees outside. It's partly cloudy. Track temp right now is though 99 degrees. And again, that's continuing to go up. So it could get a little slick. These cars do start with tire warmers on them. I can tell you that the opening lap, not too bad. You do have to be careful, specifically getting out of Siberia. Turn 6. It is, you're really searching for grip getting out of Siberia as you get back to the throttle and make your way up through turns 7 and 8 and all the way into Lukey Heights.
One of the things we always talk about, and we'll do this quickly, be qualifying just about done, is the difficulty of the curbing here, whether they're going to hurt the undercarriage of the car. How are these curbs? Are they well behaved, or they need to go to anger management?
Benign. They're not a factor, really. And
good.
I mean, you could certainly get the car. If you're right on the edge, you can certainly get it out of shape and you get the rear end around on you, but you're not going to damage the car or upset the car unnaturally too much by, just riding alongside them, as we're watching Charlie Summers do right now. You can ride over him without incident.
Well, with qualifying being done and it's a standing start, and Sean and I both want to get our GSRC's commentators bonus for getting through the entire field. Let's go ahead and bring up the starting grid right now for you and look at this. Kerry Nolden sits on the pole. He's going to be inside of Manuel Hoyer.
All right, and it's going to be Renee Osterkamp and last place, second place finisher Glenn Key on the second row.
Row 3 is Phil Reed and Charlie Summers.
All right, and row 4, Patrick Kessler and Josh Thompson.
With that page, Scott Newton and Allie Hay.
Connor Ryan, Jason Plato on row 6.
Baker's dozen spot is Daniel Morris. He's going to be inside of Ryan Walker.
Row 8, Sarah Dove, Tom Van Hoyman.
Yeah, I get the fun one here. We'll start with 17th. This is Stuart Milne. And then in the 18th position, it's Tommy Andriami Heria Sosa.
Evan Imre, Matteo Coppola will start in 19th and 20th.
In Blackjack, it's Adam Hedgecock inside of Thomas McRitchie.
All right, Robert Plumley and Josh Ladd on row 12.
13 is Yuri Mojak, Urka Lindstrom outside of him.
All right, Soup, here we go. Row 14, John Roberts, Thomas Edwards, 28 cars in this race today. Let's do it.
A strong field here. This is round number 4. The Apex Online Racing's Formula Renault 2.0 Season 10 Championship, and so far it has been all René Oosterkamp, but he does not start up front today. No, no, no. It is AOR Racing's Orange, Kerry Nolden, the teammate to Phil Reed. Phil Reed's been doing most of the heavy lifting on that team so far this season. If that team has any hopes of getting a team championship, he's going to need a good result from Kerry Nolden, and Kerry couldn't have done any better than to put it on the pole inside of Manuel Hoyer. Remember, Hoyer is teamed up with rookie Glenn Key. That team, Positive SimRacing Green, the mean green racing machine, they sit 2 and 4 in the standings. Watch for Hoyer and Key to score big today. Oosterkamp sits in 3rd. Kessler way down in 7th. You can hear the engine start to harmonize. You know what you're going to have to do. Gather up the chickens, take company on the cows, because the horses are indeed out of the barn, and it is Kerry Nolden leading the stampede down into the sweeping right-hander. That is corner number 1. He's being chased by Manuel Hoyer. Oosterkamp Key slips into 3rd position. Key right behind him, and Reed back there in 6th.
Man, they were 3 wide through Duhan at the back of the pack, and now they've settled things down a little bit. Everybody making it through the Southern Loop, Soup.
They head down through Stoner now as they'll be heading into one of the most fun passing zones, and that is the hairpin at Honda. Making the move on the outside, that is Glenn Key on his partner, was looking to get around Hoyer. Look at those Positive SimRacing Green drivers, Hoyer and Key racing 2nd and 3rd. On the inside, Phil Reed, very close to getting to the back of Key as he is side by side now with Oosterkamp. The battle for 4th. They continue to be, they've got to get this straight as they head down, up into Lukey Heights here. And now finally giving up the ground is Reed.
Soup, Connor Ryan pulled a fast one on Ali Hay back there in Honda. Got himself up in a 10th. Ryan is on the charge here, already chasing Scott Newton and Kessler.
Hay slips out of the top 10 back to 11th. Newton and Kessler racing 9th and 8th respectively, right behind the feature race winner, Josh Thompson. Let's go up to 6th position. Thompson dives to the inside of Charlie Summers. He's going to get that pass made.
Oh, he's going to.
Summers up into 6th. Up in front, Nolden fending off Manuel Hoyer. Kerry Nolden has been quiet for the first 3 races.
Oh, and Imre's off the track already. He's in the pit.
Up in front, though, you can see as they go through Honda, making an attempt on the outside was Hoyer. That's not going to work out so well, but he knows he can do it with confidence because he's got his teammate behind him in Glenn Key. Key says, no problem, just don't lose touch with the leader. And those PSR Green drivers will line up again. 2nd and 3rd, Hoyer and Key trying to run down Nolden, who leads. Phil Reed, his partner, Reed's partner, back and forth.
Soup, Evan Imre now finds himself at the back of the pack after that pit stop. He had trouble down into MG, missed the braking zone, and kind of spun it off into the grass, and then he brought it into the pits immediately.
Too bad for Imre. Remember, though, he's in the pit window. And talk about the pit window, how about René Oosterkamp? He didn't like where he was. He was behind traffic. He says, I'm faster. He's going to do, oh, my dad is smiling in his grave now.
Is.
This is the early peel, late reveal to the max.
Justin Plato trying to get himself into the top 10, and I think he got it. He gets by Ali Hay going into Duhan. Plato with a nice move up the front straight.
We saw Plato do a great job in a sprint race earlier in this season. The guy can race. So with Oosterkamp pulling off, everybody slots up one position now. Oosterkamp's teammate Patrick Kessler in 7th. If you're scoring at home, you'll want to make a note of Oosterkamp. What he was stuck behind some drivers. I think right now he figures, I'm going to pit early. Lap traffic won't be an issue because it's so early. My pit stop will take so long. Let's actually see where Oosterkamp came out.
Well, he's in 27th right now, so just now getting in the Honda corner.
But he's in 27th, but he's got nobody in front of him. It's a long time till he gets to Josh Ladd and Thomas Edwards, so he can do some hot lapping going on.
Well, it's a 27.7 second gap to our leader, Kerry Nolden, right now for him.
Right.
His bogey time in the pits is about 27 seconds.
And let's go to the lead right now, because here comes an attack. And it's Glenn Key now. Key has got around his partner. He's going to bring his partner with him.
3 wide into Duhan. Is this going to work out?
Both of the positive sim racing drivers get it done. Kerry Nolden gets relegated from first back to third behind the two teammates. They still sorting out who's going to lead up there. You know, if they race like this for the next 35 minutes, nobody's going to be able to get around them.
Yeah, Hoyer fighting really hard. Oh, and Jason Plato, after moving up through the field, has had trouble. He's off. I don't think we need to leave it right this second. Stay on this battle. We'll go back to it.
He got a little bit wide on the southern loop and did a little loop through the sand. He's losing several positions. Nobody gets him, though. Up in front, it is Hoyer, Key, Nolden, and now Nolden is being chased by his partner, Phil Reed. Look at the team situation. PSR Green, they were up 6 spots to make the top 5 overlay of the team overlay, the top right. So they're there. Kerry Nolden and Phil Reed, they're racing for AOR Orange. Those two guys are scoring well. Who are the guys who... Oh, no! A little in and off was for Nolden, right in front of his teammate. He gets it back on.
Boy.
And now he's going to decide, come on in.
Yeah, bring it in. If you spin it, bring it in. That's the second one we see do that. We'll go on board here with him. See how wild that was, Sue.
Boy. Nolden always fast, but he's not immune to making the mistake and admit him here, but he did a good job of salvaging it. And now, when we come back, maybe we can stay on Nolden because he's in the pits. Osterkamp is just crossing the start-finish line now. Nolden is rolling. Osterkamp is going to crush him as far as track position. Now, remember, Nolden lost a little bit of time on his off. Osterkamp lost no time at all. He was being held up by the traffic. So he's out in front by, oh, my goodness. Over, well, you go back to, oh, actually, look at this. Another early peeler, Josh Thompson. So, in 23rd position, boys and girls, Osterkamp, Thompson, and Nolden. 23rd, 24th, and 25th.
Yeah, me thinks now that was maybe the plan, Soup. A lot of teams thinking that they would come in here early and ride it out. But, you know, Osterkamp was ahead of the curve on all of them. So, we'll see how this pays off for Osterkamp, who's now worked his way up into 23rd.
Well, remember, even though Thompson only gridded in 8th spot, he was the fastest practicer. So he just had a bad qualifying run. So he thinks he has the pace. We know he can race. We saw him work his way up and get the win the last time out.
Hoyer going to take the lead back from Glenn Key, Sue. Got that gun going into Duhan.
Yeah, now these guys have to decide which one of these teammates is the fastest and let that guy lead for a while. They don't need to be swapping positions unless they can do it without losing time. They've got 1.2 seconds now back to Charlie Summer. Reed has been passed by Summer.
Oh, and Summers spins. I'm sorry, Summers just spins in front of Phil Reed. Phil Reed's got to make an evasive move. Both go off track. Positions changing. Kessler gets up to 3rd. Scott Newton up to 4th.
Summers had made his way up. My gosh, this was into Honda. Spins it right in front of Reed. Reed has to take it wide out into the grass. Kessler gets through. Newton gets through.
That was pretty scary.
And Summers ends up back in 7th, which was where we were just about where we were going to go before. So let's review now how that runs from 4th position. It's Newton, Reed, Ryan. Wow, how about that? Connor Ryan having the race of his career. Charlie Summers, Ali Hay. Sarah Dove now up into the top 10, racing in 9th ahead of Daniel Morris.
Connor Ryan getting passed by Charlie Summers. Charlie Summers taking one back, Soup. Summers now in the 6th. Glenn Key back to the lead.
All this going on. Key has got around, and Summers is not done. Let's go there now. Summers working on Ryan. Oh, I'm sorry. I got to get up to date. Up, Charlie Summers off in the sand one more time.
Southern Luke bit him, Soup.
He doesn't hurt the car. Well, bouncing around in the sand can't be good for the fragile little French machine. But he ends up dropping another spot now as Stuart Milne gets around up into 10th. And remember, top 10, a little bit of a faux ranking there because there's some good drivers that have already pitted. Osterkamp, Thompson. If we go up to the front, you can see that Hoyer has lost a lot of time to Key. Probably maybe a mistake somewhere back there from Hoyer. If I go back to look, see if there's any mistake. Not seeing it.
Yeah, I didn't catch it. I didn't catch it.
Oh, no, he did. He did have one. He did. It was going in this lap, going into the southern loop. He was being attacked by Key, his teammate. Yeah, this is probably worth a leap play if we can find it. This is in the southern loop. This is teammates not working well together. We'll see if we can get it, and then here we go. Now watch, this is Key making the move, and he doesn't give his teammate a lot of room, kind of forces him off.
Yeah, it might have been just, it might have spooked him a little bit, Soup,
Maybe.
and he kind of yanked the wheel left right there. That's not the spot you want to do it. You're trying to hang on to the car to begin with because you're coming, like I said earlier, coming full throttle through there. Robert Sugar Plumley in the pits. Thomas Edwards coming down the lane as well.
I've got to give you this interval because it's important. 25.5 seconds, 25 and a half seconds from Key to Osterkamp. Remember, Osterkamp is the guy who's leading those cars who've pitted. Osterkamp has a 1.7-second lead over Thompson and Nolden behind them. Those are the three top runners that are putting in hot laps. But now Osterkamp is coming up on some traffic. Let's go to 19th position. We look at Renee. He's running up behind John Roberts. Now, this is a little different, Sean, than what normally happens because this is a battle for position. Roberts does not have to get out of the way.
No, he doesn't. I almost think, though, the bigger concern for Osterkamp is who's behind him right now and closing, and that's Josh Thompson. So Thompson, of course, already gotten his pit stop in. He is going to be the car to watch out here as Osterkamp tries to blaze his way through the field and still hasn't executed this move on John Roberts.
Right now, Osterkamp is waving a flag that this says Osterkamp. This is one of the things where Roberts is new to the series. Sometimes you can make these passes on reputation. When you see somebody coming up behind you, you say, "Oh man, what am I doing racing with that guy? Let him by." So the pass is made. Osterkamp does move up into 17th. The interval remains at 25 and a half seconds, not losing any time to Glenn Key. Key can drive, boys and girls. This rookie is fast.
Yes, he is, and I still continue to think about that finish last week. Any other day, that had been Glenn Key's win. Not last week. I'm sure we've got more in store for the rest of this season.
Well, this commentator had put him out of the picture on that last race. He got up there, did a little bit of bumping to get in it. Boy, it was a great run down to the finish line. Now, the leaders also have track. They're coming up on the back of Robert Sherman Plumley, a veteran. A little different, though, this time, Sean. Plumley seeing that blue flag with the yellow stripes.
Yeah, Plumley already gotten his stop in. This will throw him a lap down. Glenn's got to get there first, and then he's got to navigate it. I'm sure Robert will play just fine with him when they get there.
When I was racing more regularly, I would actually fall asleep, and I would see that blue flag in my dreams. It's annoying.
Man, Scott Newton really starting to put some pressure on Phil Reed. Got a good run at him here. He's right in the toe. Maybe a passing opportunity down in Siberia coming up. We'll see. Ooh!
Reed working it.
Phil struggled a little bit there.
I don't like the pass here because it's hard to get this done before you get into Lukey Heights, and I don't like going too wide through here. Sometimes drivers can have an argument about where the racing line really is. Let's see. if Newton's going to force the issue. I prefer to wait and get it down into the pit. I like to call it into the MG corner, corner number 10. Field's going to wait until they come around that final corner, maybe make a shot down the straightaway.
He's just close enough. He's in the toe here, Scott. Could get a run at him here. Boy, I don't think he's going to be able to. Yeah, he is a little far back. Not going to be able to catch him quick enough.
You can watch on the little clicker up on top yourself to keep an eye on that timing and scoring. The interval between Oosterkamp and the guys that they're chasing.
Oh, Kessler made the move just ahead. Got right by Phil Reed. So Kessler's now up in a podium spot there, Soup. Or I'm sorry, that was him passing Robert Plumley. My bad. I caught that wrong on screen there.
Yeah, they had to get around Plumley. Now Reed and Newton have got around Plumley as well. That interval, 25.2 seconds. Oosterkamp able to knock 0.3 of a second off of it. Remember, Glenn Key is racing Rene Oosterkamp, who's on the other side of the track. There you can Oosterkamp, and you see that he has distanced himself away from Josh Thompson. Interesting, Thompson and Key were the two drivers involved in that great finish at the sprint race last time out at the ring.
Oh, and I think Sarah Dove just ran off. She did, getting down into MG. Oh, boy.
She was chasing Charlie Summers. My goodness, she locked it up.
Yeah, now Van Hoyman right side by side with her, trying to come around.
Yeah, she lost 2 positions to Milne and Mojak, and now she's fighting to hang on to this one. I think she's going to lose this one as well. Here comes Van Hoyman, and also into the mix, this is Matteo Capua. Dove back to 14th. Get the replay on Little Bird and her misfortunes.
Would you be willing to say she's dropping like a bird?
Well, I don't know.
Maybe that doesn't sound right. All right. Let's get away from that.
I can, on a more positive note, I can say that she did pick up a top 5 finish in the Absolute Beginner Leagues as they race these Formula Renaults as well. She had a great performance over there. Let's check back in on the leaders if they have tightened up again. These two PSR Green drivers, Key and Hoyer. Hoyer looks a little hungry. Let's stay on this as they come out of my trap map with me. Memory serves, this corner is called Swan. Maybe my director will confirm that one. Yes, it is. Okay. Now a good run from Hoyer.
Kessler is in. We'll stay on this battle, but Kessler coming down the pit lane now.
All right, the teammates negotiate that pass much better. Now let's see if we can pick up Oosterkamp. Oosterkamp just coming out of Swan. How many will Kessler probably not get Oosterkamp? The question is, will he be able to get ahead of Thompson? Oosterkamp goes by. Thompson goes by. Kessler's going to take the late pit entry. He's going to file out in front of Kerry Nolden, though. So third of all the drivers who've pitted. Oosterkamp, Thompson, Kessler. Nolden now slotted back to 4th. Remember, Nolden was leading early on until he made that mistake. In the mix between those drivers, between Oosterkamp and Thompson, sits Tommy and Riami Heria Sosa.
Boy, and back to Sarah Dove. Her and Tom Van Hoyman right now having a bit of a battle. They are side by side. And Sarah trying to get the better of it. And here we go. Lukey Heights down to MG. Let's see what happens here. And that's Matteo Coppola right in front of them.
While this goes on, we can watch it. In this report that there's a very friendly pass once again between those two Positive Sim Racing Green teammates. Right now, it's Key back out in front. But here's the big news. The gap is 24.9 seconds. Osterkamp has been able to knock off 0.6 of a second since you and all of my clipboard fans at home have been charting it.
Well, Soup Sardove right there on screen gets by Coppola. She is back to 11th place, so recovered really well since that off track there. Sara really putting in some good times now and trying to reclaim that spot. Now she's back to fighting with Coppola.
One more. Yeah, well, she's faster. She's faster than those boys. A couple drivers that hadn't been getting a lot of love, and they're having a great race. Let's go to 5th position for Ali Hay. Nice job. Started 10th, up to 5th. Of course, he'll lose some of those when he has to make a stop. How about Connor Ryan? 11th to 6th. Been following Ali right through the field. And, of course, we've documented the trials and tribulations of Charlie Summers racing back there in 7th. And I don't want to be too cavalier about this, but the leaders have changed again. Key and Hoyer, they're just working. I think they are well aware of what's going on with Osterkamp.
We've got more takers to the pit lane. Coppola's in. Phil Reed's in. Phil is down and away.
Reed is one we'll want to look at. Going by right now, that's Thompson, the driver in 2nd of all the cars who've pitted. Now the one that he's coming out for, that's Andriami Heria Sosa. That one really doesn't matter. Phil comes out 3rd of all the cars who've pitted, ahead of Kessler.
Andriama Herasoa. Thomas, 15th right now. Still needs to get that pit stop in, Soup.
I'm so discouraged. I have worked so hard on Andriami Heriasoa.
Man, Van Hoyman and Sara Dove continue to tangle.
So we look at this right now on screen. This is Tommy getting passed by Reed and now Kessler. Now we're looking at Sara Dove.
Yeah, I hate to jump around the battles, but when these two have been side by side, it's been really, really close. Van Hoyman getting a little bit of lockup there, a little brake lockup. Oh, and I see somebody around. Is it Robert Plumley's had trouble again?
Yeah.
Yeah, he spun by himself, it looks like. Going into Swan.
And also McRitchie also put it in the wall. He was racing well in the back. His day is done.
No, Soup, it's not. He has
his day is not done. That's right.
It's just beginning. Charlie Summers is in. And out.
All the big names should be able to get around Summers. He comes out behind Nolden. That's pretty good for Charlie. Hoyer and Key. Newton and Hay. Now, with the new rules, Sean, this is where we would say, well, when are Hoyer and Key going to come in? They don't have to come in until the very last lap.
Whenever they want.
I wanted to make sure that in theory they couldn't make the pit stop if your pit box was before the start-finish line. In my soupy brain, you could come in, make your tire change, and just kind of roll across the start-finish line and finish the race that way from pit lane. But no, they won't let you do that. Look at this. Hoyer beginning to stretch it out a bit on Key. Let's go up to our leaders here.
A little bit, yeah. It's now opened up to just under a second.
And here's the big news. The interval, 25.3 seconds back to René Osterkamp. So as much as the German driver has tried, well, a pair of German drivers, one leading and one in what would that be now, 8th position. The gap has remained pretty much the same.
Sue Van Hoyman's in and out of his stop. Now that leaves our top 7 to still get those pit stops settled out. René Osterkamp still leading all drivers that have taken a stop. And that gap, Sue, surprisingly enough, is still about 25.5 seconds. It hasn't changed much at all.
And I need to correct myself before the emails start coming in. You can't make a bigger mistake than this. Manuel Hoyer from Austria. Let's get that straight, Soup.
Please, no international incidents on the AOR broadcast, okay?
I want to be precise on their nations there.
Does Glen Key seem like a rather odd American name for a Scandinavian? That's my question.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like he's from Norway. Well, of course, the key is a Norwegian delicacy. It's a fish that you can fish for there in Norway.
Okay, don't even get me started on fish from Nordic countries, okay?
Yeah,
there's some pretty wild stuff out there that you probably don't want to eat.
Pick it up, salt it up, serve it with some with mint jelly, I believe is how it's done. Jeez. Hoyer, Key, and Scott Newton. Talk about food.
No.
Sitting in third.
Connor Ryan still hanging on back there behind him in fourth, being chased by Daniel Morris. But it's Josh Ladd right now, Soup, really having the drive of the race. We barely talked about Josh. We talked about him on the grid when he was all the way at the back. Guess where he's at now? He's in sixth. Yeah, well, he's still got to stop. And he's got Osterkamp right at his door here.
He's playing an important role in the race. Osterkamp has got to be saying to these guys, why are you still out here? He's got to hope that they would all make their stops. That's one of the disadvantages to the early peel, late reveal with this rule package, is Josh Ladd can stay out until the cows come home, well, at least one lap before the cows come home, and Osterkamp's going to have to deal with them. Now, Hoyer makes the stop. He should be able to get in and out in front of everybody. This will be a great Osterkamp just coming around Swan right now. Hoyer is rolling. Osterkamp is full song. Osterkamp still has Ladd in front of him. Hoyer taking the late pit exit. It's going to be close. Ladd goes by. Osterkamp goes by. That is the next car in. That is Sarah Dove, who's yet to make her stop. Hoyer, the undercut has been made. And this has got to scare Glen Key right now, because Key was trailing Osterkamp. Right now, Josh Ladd is still holding up Osterkamp. Yeah. There is no bigger fan of Josh Ladd than Manuel Hoyer.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. Ladd just seems to be filling up the track right now, doesn't he, Sue?
Making that car wider than a Julia Roberts smile. I don't know if Osterkamp's going to give him before they get to Lukey Heights. He'll have to make a dive bomb down into the MG corner. This is great news for Hoyer, great news for Key. No pass made yet.
Hey, it's great
news.
He
gets loose right in front of Hoyer. Go ahead, right in front of Osterkamp.
I was going to say, it's good for Josh Thompson back there, too. He's not too far behind this. Don't count Thompson out.
And look at this. Osterkamp decides to make the move early without the toe. He's not going to get the run. Look at the run now that Hoyer will get because he waited.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Oh, Laddie.
Send it.
And they can't get it done. What was interesting was Osterkamp decided to make the move on the outside of Swan. Hoyer sat back there and took the advantage of the draft. All right, they get that done. My.
Yeah, some really interesting stuff going on right now on track with just past the 12-minute mark to go. Still got all these guys needing a stop, and Key, Newton, Ryan, and Morris all in front of Osterkamp right now.
Real quickly, I want to go to 20th position just because we want to talk about the Dos Equis spot. Matteo Coppola, but we don't know if this is real or not because people have to make their stops.
Yeah. Soup, Osterkamp, and Hoyer really battling right now. Oh, that was so close. Now, Glen Key's in. So's Connor Ryan and Daniel Morris. They're all in the pit, Soup. Driving in now. And the battle rages on between Osterkamp and Hoyer. Here they come out of Swan.
We'll wait to see when Key gets rolling. Key is rolling right now. He's going to be on track first. Here they come side by side behind him. Key's going to get out in front first. He's first into corner number 1. Meanwhile, a pass made for what is now second as Manuel Hoyer gets around Osterkamp. So the two PSR green drivers back in front.
Here comes Josh Thompson. He's hanging on to fifth there.
All that fighting has led Thompson back into the mix. Don't be fooled by Josh Ladd. He'll have to make that stop. Look at this battle up in front. This is Osterkamp. They touch, and that's good on. They spin. Ladd is involved in it, and Thompson gets a piece of it. Your points leader is off in the Australian alfalfa. He got into the back of Hoyer. That got his momentum checked up. Thompson had to punt him a little bit as they go by. Boink, boink.
Wow. Not seeing any damage on Thompson's machine. Not seeing any on Josh Ladd's either, for that matter.
Just to pour a little salt in the wound, Josh Ladd got a piece of them too going by. Josh Ladd in 6th.
Yeah, we're
right
on board,
on
Josh
board.
Ladd.
The man who still needs to pit. Go ahead.
Yeah, the wheel went right over the left front there. Ladd, more of a tire hop, really. Ladd's finally in for a stop, though. Osterkamp has to come in. That car hurt. He's out of the cockpit.
Well, you know, Australia is not that far from Japan. And, of course, swimming in the ocean off Japan is Godzilla. And I keep hearing about the new build, the Godzilla thing that iRacing is putting in. If Godzilla were to come out of the ocean right now, this race would be called because we're past halfway, and Scott Newton would be your winner.
Godzilla in Australia, though?
Oh, well, because he swims down. It's just south of Japan. It's not that
that's
far.
true. That's true. It's not a bad swim. I think Monster Island sits somewhere between Australia and Japan, doesn't it? All right.
Right now, a monster of a battle is for second place here for Hoyer, Key. Now, they're teammates, but the guy to watch out for is Thompson.
Yeah, he's not, obviously, and he is on the way, Soup. Could we be setting up for another finish like we had last week in this race? 8.5 minutes to go. Josh Thompson finds himself in striking distance now. It's the same situation for Glenn Key.
I think Key and Thompson have they've been together once before. The racing gods are fickle and cruel, aren't they? Look at this. This is now, here comes Key. This is basically a pass for the lead. Because Scott Newton, while he has enough fuel, he has to make the pits. What happens if Newton just decides to come in? What's the penalty? If he just decides to take it all the way?
We're going to have to find out, but I would assume...
There has to be some serious penalty for that, I would think.
Disqualification? I mean...
I don't know. Sometimes being first to the checker flag might be worth whatever penalty there is to pay on that. Key and Hoyer, just for your own sense of accomplishment. Key, Hoyer, Thompson, second, third, and fourth.
And you know, I'm beginning to wonder, you think Josh Thompson's maybe just lying in wait here? Maybe until about 4 minutes to go and he's going to get on the hammer? Or you think Key and Hoyer are actually just that much better than he is right now?
Well, here's the deal. The two cars punch a huge hole. And Thompson, you know he has the pace. We saw what he can do last round in the sprint race back at the ring. So I think Key and Hoyer have to be talking on their secret PSR Green channel about how we can maybe wait to the very last lap to fight this out. And look at this. Here's a bit of a dance going on here.
And Soup, I am getting some information now. And in fact, Newton did pit, and it's a good thing he did because it is disqualification for not coming in for that tire change.
Okay. Probably listening to the broadcast. He probably had that in his mind until we brought that up. So Newton in and out. He slots back in 6th position behind Kessler. Not a great day for the SimRacing boys. Kessler back in 5th, and of course René Osterkamp having
Thanks,
trouble. Not a lot of
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sim.
well, not a lot of tears shed for the sim
No.
you guys, I think.
Just a shout out to to Lubomir Morris for helping us out with the info there on the DQ. Yeah, man, Thompson is just not closing.
Just to follow up here with just under 6 minutes of racing to go, Kerry Nolden, your pole sitter, he's in 6th position, but still a good points day for AOR Orange guys, as Nolden is in 8th and Reed in 4th. How about some guys inside the top 10 legitimately? Connor Ryan in 9th, trying to hang on to Ali Hay, has him pestering. And how about this guy, Ryan Walker? Let's make sure Walker has made his stop. Yes, he has. So that's Ryan looking to get up there for a top 10.
And Soup, hitting the 5-minute mark, you know who's in 20th? Our good friend Thomas Andriami Harasoa is holding down that 20th spot right now. Jason Plato a full 13 seconds behind him. So all Thomas has got to do is keep the car on track, keep it in the gray here for about 4 minutes and 45 seconds.
So let's go up front, because now this is where we're going to give, with apologies to the rest of the field for these final 4.5 minutes, we're going to focus up front. It is Key and Hoyer. Only 0.4 of a second back is Thompson.
Yeah, and they better be careful not to mess each other up, because it's going to cost him. Thompson with a great run there in the in Lukey Heights.
Those cars both painted Key and Hoyer painted the same. To my rods and cones, it looks like Key has a little brighter color rims than Hoyer does. That's how
right.
I'm going to tell them apart.
He's got the red rims, Soup. Hoyer in the black.
Red rims for rookies. Here comes the black rim of Manuel Hoyer. And now what you want to start to watch, viewers, is when the pass is finished. Who's ahead at the start-finish line? That time, it was Glenn Key. He was first out of Swan. He was first to the finish line, even though Hoyer made the pass. Interval back to Thompson, 0.4 of a second. Almost better to say it as far as car lengths. I'd say it's about 6. Come up into the hairpin, that is Honda. You can see the accordion effect as Thompson pulls right back up behind him. And my goodness, the bellows do not open up all the way on that accordion, as Thompson is able to stay right there. Now, they are all within, 2 or 3 car lengths of each other. You are out there racing, Sean. Where do you think you make the pass? Do you dare try to do it out the final corner, or do you want to play defense here like Hoyer is doing on that last lap?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'll take a swing at it out of Swan.
Okay.
You've got a little bit of a. Actually, you can start as early as turn 11 before you even get to Swan. As you're getting back to the power, it's a great opportunity to get on a hammer there and really try and outpace somebody.
Look how far Key was back there out of 11, and he has plenty of time to get the pass made.
Oh boy!
And he did it. He got it done.
Thompson going down to the inside into Duhan.
And you can win from 3rd as well. Careful, boys. Again, they touch. These guys raced last time. They know each other. Thompson is loose. Did he have some contact? He might have.
I'm watching now,
I don't know.
Soup.
I don't want to put the onus on the driver. It snapped on him.
It snapped on him. I really think it snapped on him. I did not see any contact. Either that or it was net code. But car snaps around on him, and Thompson... And listen, it'll do that right there. The car will react like that. If you lose just a little bit of grip and you try to react to it, it'll snap just like it did on Thompson. He's running out of time. Only 1 minute and 40 seconds left.
Good news for Phil Reed, Patrick Kessler, and Scott Newton as they all vulture that spot. Newton now inside the top 5 after that late pit stop. Thompson back to 6th. But with 1.5 minutes of racing to go, our focus is going to be on the 2 teammates. We talked about it in the countdown to green. Positive SimRacing Green. The lean, mean racing machine is Glenn Key and Manuel Hoyer. They race 1-2. Is there enough time for this team to run down SimRC boys? Maybe so. Key comes across with a 0.2 of a second lead, and this will be your white flag lap.
Yes, sir. The white flag is flying. Is Key going to win a race? Finally? I don't know. We'll see. Got to get by Urka Lindstrom here. Lindstrom just pulls out of the way. Good job, Urka. Glenn Key has command right now, but we certainly know Manuel Hoyer is up to the task. Here we go, Soup.
Down into Honda. They will be on the binders. Hoyer too far back to make a dive bomb move here. So Key will have the perfect racing line, whatever he likes. He gets it. Now they head on into Siberia. Again, Key has it his own way. Racing as smooth as blended whiskey right now. Just trying to hit his marks. He's got 0.7 of a second back to his Austrian teammate. Glenn Key, the rookie, racing out of Norway. Just a few more corners to go. I think Hoyer is too far back to get there through the MG corner. Now he's on the throttle. Nothing between him and the checkered flag as he comes out of Swan. In the feature race, round number 4 of the Apex Online Racing's Formula Renault 2.0 Championship goes to Glenn Key. Second place to his teammate Manuel Hoyer. Reed, Kessler, and Thompson come home 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Is there a battle out on the track anywhere? No
Ali
one
Hay.
looks safely.
Ali Hay, Daniel Morris. Morris trying to get one more spot here from Ali.
Hayes going to come across in 10th. Morris is not going to get there in 11th. Josh Thompson looks to be struggling as the car is very slow across the line in 12th. Might be fuel. Let's go back to the Dos Equis position. It is Tommy Andriami Arisoa, or some form of that name. He comes out of Swan. Andriamiharitsoa will be on the pole at the sprint race. Woo!
Yeah,
Rush.
that was a good one.
Sean, you know that this is a doubleheader event, and the best part of any doubleheader is the break between the events. It's that perfect blend of the post-race high and the pre-race jitters. We're going to take a short break, but don't go far. We'll be back to run down the entire finishing order of the feature race, talk to some of the drivers before we get all of our ducks in a row for the sprint race that'll follow shortly. Be back in a minute. sanctioned by Apex Online Racing. You're watching the Global Sim Racing Channel's coverage of Formula Renault 2.0 Season 10 Championship. The feature race is in the books. Let's give you those final standings right now. It was the Norwegian rookie Glenn Key who was able to outduel his PSR Green teammate Manuel Hoyer for the win. Key gets big points for winning the feature. Phil Reed, Patrick Kessler, and Scott Newton, using that late pit strategy, gets 5th position. The back half of your top 10, Kerry Nolden, your pole sitter, will salvage 6th position. Charlie Summers had his adventures. He's got to be happy with 7th. Connor Ryan, Ryan Walker, and Ali Hay round out your top 10. Crackers?
All right, and we'll drop down to 11th. It's going to be Daniel Morris. Josh Thompson winds up with a 12th place finish. Heartbreak for him. Tom Van Hoyman, 13th. 14th, going to go to Matteo Coppola. Josh Ladd with still a solid run, 15th. Evan Emre, 16th. 17th, going to go to Stuart Milne. Gary Mochak, 18th. Soup, look who's going to be starting on the front row. Sarah Dove in 19th. And she'll be right on the outside of Thomas Andriama Horosoa to start the sprint race here in just a few minutes.
Before I round out the guys that will not be inverted in the grid, you can bet that Sarah Dove will be first to the finish line, or the start-finish line after lap 1. And if the betting window's still open, Josh Thompson, a good bet to pick up the sprint race win. He's going to be starting well up the field. Let's round out the last part of the grid here. Jason Plato, these guys will all be starting in the position they finished 21st. John Roberts behind him. Urka Lindstrom and Adam Hedgecock go 23rd, 24th. Quarter century mark. He's got some work to do. Renee Osterkamp. James McRitchie had trouble. I documented that he put it in the wall. He's going to be in 26th, 27th, and 28th. Thomas Edwards and Robert Sugar Plumley. Okay, there you have it. Crackers, is there anybody who's going to talk to us, or are they all hanging out?
No, Glenn Key's there. Let's talk to him.
Go ahead, Sean.
Glenn, congratulations. You get the win this time.
Thank you. Oh, it feels great. It feels really great.
It's got to feel great on the heels of what happened in the sprint race last week, doesn't it?
Oh, tell me about it. It was a mixture of frustration and just pure joy at the same time, to be honest. I'm really impressed with how Josh handled things and the battle we had. But man, I feel like I got it back this time.
Yeah, well, I was going to say the heartbreak of last week had to maybe been reminiscent of that first girlfriend. I don't know, but I'll tell you what, we were heartbroken for you. But listen, Phillip Island, tell the viewers real quick, how much are you on the power here? I mean, foot flat to the floor, most of the track, isn't it?
Yeah, basically. And there's one corner coming up the hill. Don't remember the corner name, but you're coming over the crest and you're kind of having an egg under the throttle around there. But other than that, it's just full bang on.
Yeah, Papaluki Heights there. Yeah.
Yeah, and important to just get on the power as soon as possible, because there's long straights and you don't want to lose that time.
Where's the best opportunity for a pass, Glenn?
I would say into T1 and T2 through T3 and follow it through T4 and just basically the whole track.
Glenn, it's soup here. How much of that with your teammate was battling, and how much was dancing throughout the race?
None of it was battling, to be honest. We've had communication through the whole race, and I want to say thank you to Manuel Hoyer, who's been really great cooperating with me, and we just planned it out the whole thing and just said, okay, if we want good results, we just have to just keep on doing what we're doing, just go slipstreaming each other. So everything was planned out.
Did you spend any time at all tracking where Osterkamp was, because he peeled off early, or you just didn't worry about him?
I noticed a yellow car spinning off in my side mirrors, but I was trying not to stay focused about what was happening behind me. I was more focusing ahead.
Because he took that early stop, and we were monitoring the gap, and he just couldn't make up any time. And when you came out, you got the lead out of the pit stops. Well, congratulations on this one. This is a good one. We got the sprint. Keep it clean. You got a lot of cars to get through now, so be careful.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, but for the champagne, right?
Right. All right. Glenn Key working for the double. There you have it. Sean, that guy can drive.
Yes, he can. Yes, he can. And I'm looking forward to seeing how he drives up through the field, starting back at 20th place. Soup, when we come back here in a few minutes.
We're going to take a break. We'll get all our ducks in a row. Don't go far. We'll be back for the sprint race. Sanctioned by the good folks at Apex Online Racing, this is the Global Sim Racing Channel's coverage of their Formula Renault 2.0 Season 10 Championship. The feature race is in the books, and now we turn our attention to the craziness that is the sprint race. And here with the details on that, Crackers.
Soup, the sprint race, it's pretty simple. It's 25 minutes. We're inverting the grid from the top 20 finish in the feature race, and all 20 were on the lead lap, so we don't have to worry about that. We're going to have 20 that flip positions. In fact, we said our buddy Thomas Andriama Harasoa is going to be on the pole. Sarah Dove is going to complete that front row with him. Pit stops, you're not going to need them this time. If you do, well, your chances of winning are pretty much out the window, especially here. Into the cap, just a little bit less, 13x. Wasn't an issue for anyone in the first race, so I think we'll be okay. Now, the points are a little bit different, Soup. They pay 20 points to win, and it only pays all the way back to 16 on the sprint race.
And we always look to see if we can get the double. It is a hard thing to do, and today the guy who's going to have to do it is Glenn Key. He's going to have to work his way around 19 drivers that are going to be in front of him. And a lot of those are going to be big-name drivers that are fast. Phil Reed, Josh Thompson, all starting ahead of him. His teammate, Manuel Hoyer, will be ahead of him as well. A long way to go. Cannot forget about Rene Oosterkamp, the SimRC driver who has been dominating the series. He did not win his 4th consecutive feature race. In fact, he didn't finish inside the top 20, did not finish in the points. Oosterkamp, I can almost guarantee, will not be at the top when Sean has to do the best of day honors next time, Sean.
Yeah, maybe not. Hey, Sarah Dove right now experiencing some trouble with her pedals. That could be an issue on the start. We don't know if she'll make. She's out there turning laps right now, slowly, but hopefully she can get that fixed and be available to start on that front row.
Well, the only pedal Sarah needs is the one on the far right, because she knows how to drive that car fast. That big one next to it, I don't need that one. Drivers putting in some practice times right now. These are kind of meaningless. Just let them know. It's a good indication of who has signed in. Always scary that you have to get signed up into this one. We can report that Charlie Summers is in the session. Charlie has a reputation of having horrible internet connection problems. Sean, looks like he's got that gremlin behind him.
You know, he has asked us a couple times not to even reference that. So,
all right.
But Charlie, Soup, listen, it's a factor, okay? It's cost him a lot of races. All right, we've seen it in the past. Charlie could have been a legend here in the AOR Championship with the amount of wins that he could have had they were not taken from him by a bad connection. So hopefully Charlie's got everything sorted out, and maybe we'll see him here up near the podium when this race is over. Just 2.5 minutes to go in practice. Look at that. He went to second. He went to second on the practice times there right now, 1:25.3.
Yes, well, it was not internet problems that was giving him trouble last time. It was the Australian tundra that he seemed to like exploring, as he was off track several times. Nevertheless, got a good result. And again, he'll be starting ahead of the guys that were darn quick. Look for him. Of course, Josh Thompson is the one I think that is really going to be tough to hold off. He finished in 12th. What would that put him? Do the math. Start outside of row 4, maybe, I think?
Yes. I think that's right, Soup.
Assuming everybody makes it into the session.
Yeah.
But all of our attention will go on the rookie, Tommy Andriami Heriasoa. Lord knows if there's any driver that needs a nickname, it would be Thomas. If you guys watch it on the YouTube channel, if you want to come up with suggestions, I'm willing to look at them all.
Maybe we should get him to approve any nicknames given.
Also, anybody who's good with like anagrams, if you can take his last name and see his... Probably if you shuffle those numbers around, it'll say, or his shuffle the letters around there, the number of letters that are there. That's the management director's giving me
spelling with numbers.
Clearly they are letters. Probably spell something great, like I will win or something like that. Honestly, you could probably get a whole sentence with all the letters he has available. Kerry Nolden, another one to watch out for. Remember, he was our pole sitter. Had some bad luck. He's faster than his 6th place finish. I think 8th place finish actually will show. Look for him to be quick. When we get to the sprint race, we will kind of split up our commentator duties. I will try to cover the action up front, and Sean will do what he does, and that's cover the craziness in the back as those fast drivers try to work their way through the field. Their biggest nemesis, Sean, maybe not the cars in front of them, it's the 25 minutes.
Yeah, it's it goes by real quickly, Soup. You find yourself behind, really behind. It's going to be tough to fight through the field. Here we go to the grid.
See if we can get our commentators bonus here. As soon as it populates, we'll go through it. And there you have it. Thomas Andriasoa, Harriosoa, close enough on that one. Sarah Dove's going to be outside of him. Yuri Morjic and Stuart Min behind him. Evan Imre and Matteo Coppola behind him. 4th row, Thomas Van Hoyman and Daniel Morris, Ali Hay, and Ryan Walker. Sean?
All right, let's go to row 6. It's going to be Connor Ryan, Charlie Summers. Row 7, Kerry Nolden, Scott Newton. Row 8, Patrick Kessler and Phil Reed. Row 9, Manuel Hoyer and Glenn Key. Row 10, Jason Plato and John Roberts.
And then the guys that did not get regrid, Urkel Lindstrom, Adam Hedgecock, Renee Osterkamp in 23rd, watch him, James McRitchie, Thomas Edwards, Robert Sugar Plumley, Josh Thompson in 27th, and Josh Ladd. Not sure what happened to Thompson. He must not have got in here in time.
Well, no, there's some debate. There's some debate going on about maybe there was a penalty involved there, Sue.
Well, the engines start to rev up. You can hear them start to harmonize. One more time, gather up the chickens, take cover behind the cows because the horses are out of the barn. But it's not a horse. It is a dove that's making the move on the outside, coming up on the inside, flying for that position. He's not going to get to the front. Is Yuri Mojak, Dove, Mojak, and Tommy. 1, 2, 3.
Boy, and Ali Hay, a horrible start out of Duhan, off into the grass. Oh, more cars spitting. Josh Ladd was involved. That's coming out of the southern loop. Thomas Edwards.
We got that booklet. We'll come back to it. I can report that a driver just made a move up in front. It is the Rolling Thunder. Evan Imre got around Stuart Mild. Mild coming back on him now through Siberia, and he gets it back.
Soup. Mojak had trouble. Scott Newton's had trouble. Josh Thompson, Glenn Key had a little bit of trouble. All kinds of craziness going on here at the back of the field.
Yeah, Yuri Mojak got loose, and he got T-boned by Josh Ladd. So a lot of stuff going on. But we can report out in front if my timing and scoring will update me here. Here we go. Your leader. Oh, so many cars have taken the tow. It is Sarah Dove, I believe.
Yeah, Sarah Dove's in the lead right now. Great start. Obviously got the problem with the pedals figured out.
Pedals schmedals. She's on a roll.
We got 3 wide going into Duhan.
Oh, Milne got to the inside, being pushed off into the grass. He was having a good run. Is Charlie Summers. Comes back on track right in front of Kerry Nolden. Nolden has to hold his breath. He gets around him. Hoyer gets around him.
Guys obviously pushing way too hard here early. Glenn Key, Josh Thompson, all in a battle right now. Phil Reed, Adam Hedcock right in front of him, Sue. 3 wide. Oh, boy.
I might have misidentified that driver. It was Stuart Milne, I believe, who was off in the grass. I said Charlie Summers. Summers racing safely in 6th position right now. Let's look at the battle for... Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Phil Reed, Josh Thompson going at it for 15th right now, right next to each other, side by side, and it's Josh Thompson pushing hard after starting all the way back at 28th, Soup. He's already got himself to 15th.
Honestly, this reporter should have been on that if there was a penalty to be served by Thompson. I should have known that, as he would have been gridded up front. He had to start way at the back. That's why he's in that battle with Reed right now.
They've given no explanation, Soup, so no way we could have known, to be honest with you.
Well, it doesn't matter to Sarah Dove. She's got 2.3 seconds and just under 22 minutes of racing to go. Daniel Morris now in second. Evan Imre. Go, Sean.
Just behind them, Matteo Coppola and Ryan Walker almost locked wheels. Coppola gets ahead.
The big name to watch is the driver in seventh, Kerry Nolden, working on Ryan Walker right now. Nolden will be fast. The question is, can he get around all these cars? Nolden not noted for his patience. And right now he is stuck with Walker and Coppola in a battle for fifth. Nowhere for Nolden to put that car. Watch Walker in sixth. This is what Glenn Key was talking about, this drive up into Lukey Heights where you have to feather the throttle. Nolden trying to force the issue here. I don't like it because sometimes people don't understand where the apex is. Walker backs out. Woo. And that lets Manuel Hoyer come into the mix.
Yeah, geez. Hoyer on his horse. He's going to get it out of MG. Good job by Hoyer. That's up to 7th. 10 spots already for Hoyer. Jeez.
Based on what I saw in the feature race, Nolden was better in qualifying. Hoyer had the fastest car when it's time to race. Hoyer in 7th. Nolden now getting her underneath Coppola. Coppola doing a good job of staying out of the way. Nolden up to 5th. The best friends of Sarah Dove right now are Evan Imre, Charlie Summers, and Daniel Morris, as she continues to keep the gap at 2 seconds between her and Daniel Morris.
Soup, Josh Thompson, we mentioned him before. He's up to 12th now. All over James McRitchie. Is he going to get it done? He does, and that's another spot for Thompson, up to 11th now.
Right behind Patrick Kessler. You know that Thompson is fast. Key working his way around Urkel Lindstrom. You know that Glenn Key is fast. He's in 13th. Just under 20 minutes of racing to get there. The interval from Dove to Key, only 8.8 seconds.
Key's having a fight, though. Urkel Lindstrom not giving up really easy here. Putting some pressure on Glenn.
Hoyer trying to pick up a spot. He's got a good run on the back of Coppola. Coppola is going to move over and leave the inside open for the Austrian driver. Boy, Hoyer doesn't have a real good run to get there, and I think a little bit of a toe is what Coppola got off the back of Imre, and that made it hard for Hoyer to get there, but he finally gets it done now, I think. Boy, he's going to have to work through the southern loop, and he finishes it up.
And listen, Hoyer had that car on the limit through the southern loop. He was right out to the curbing. Very easy to lose the car off into the alfalfa right there. He did a great job of making that pass. Just behind him,
Sarah got a little bit loose coming out of Honda. She had a race that was as smooth as dolphin skin, but then she got loose out of Honda, and that's going to let Daniel Morris close the gap. It's now down to 5/10 of a second. It's not so much the interval that she lost to Morris, not the interval that she lost to Summers. It's the interval that she lost to Kerry Nolden. Oh, and on the wing of her car it says Little Bird. It's nice to see whenever they put the nicknames on there. Not sure if I was responsible for that one or not. Let's go back to 5th. This is Roland Thunder going to take the defensive line. Hoyer's having none of this. He's going to power around the outside. And he gets it done. Sean, the other guys, Kessler, Thompson. Well, Thompson's having a great run.
Yeah, legendary.
Glenn Key having a hard time. Yeah, Glenn Key having a hard time getting going.
Well, it's been traffic that's been his Achilles heel. He's just not been able to come up on it quick enough and then get around it and clear it. Right now, it's James McRitchie, the next car in the way. But he finds himself now a full almost 3.5 seconds behind Josh Thompson, who is just in another stratosphere right now. That car continues to pick up positions, although I will say he hasn't had quite the time catching Kessler. Kessler's been on point here. He's done nothing but pick up positions since this race got started. But what you've got to look at for Thompson is all this traffic right in front of him. Coppola, Ryan, Imre, Ryan Walker, those are all serious.
Sorry, Dove loses it. We can get it on replay. I can report that Charlie Summer had made his way around Daniel Morris, and Little Bird makes another mistake while leading.
Yep, you're going to see it goes bad for her here down in MG. She'll get out of Lukey Heights okay, but once she gets down to MG, things go all bad for her. There's the hill there in Lukey Heights, and blind down the hill. And a little bit too much brake, or maybe shifting in the wrong spot. Gets the car around. She's hanging on those soups, still in 5th.
Yeah, she was racing on a razor's edge. Now, Kerry Nolden has worked his way around Charlie Summers, so it did not take long for the feature race pole sitter to get to the front. He has worked his way around. Summers is now in 2nd. Daniel Morris in 3rd.
Ooh.
Not sure. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Kessler making a move back here on Connor Ryan. Boy.
Ryan closes the door, practicing a little rhinoplasty there, chopping the nose off of Kessler. Kessler has places to go. He's got to score points for SimRC. They have not had a good day. Kessler should be faster than Ryan and Imre and Walker. Right now, Connor Ryan working hard on the back of Rolling Thunder for 7th.
And Josh Thompson just went to 10th. Did it getting up into Lukey Heights. He gets by Matteo Coppola. Thompson now finds himself right behind Kessler. Going to get a good run out of Swan. Down the front straight here. Is he going to opt for the toe? Yes, he will.
And while that goes on, I can report that Manuel Hoyer has worked his way around Daniel Morris. He is up to 3rd. There is now nobody between him and the 2 guys of Kerry Nolden and Summers. And Summers made the pass on the main straight as well. Summers back to the lead.
Hearing that maybe Kessler and Thompson made a little bit of contact through turn 1, but both cars seem to be under power right now, and Thompson just picking up another spot from Evan Imre. Now he's behind his teammate. 19 spots. 19.
Make me serve a penalty, will you? I'll show you what you can do with your penalty.
He is driving a little, like I generally say, if there's anybody got a chip on his shoulder, it's Josh Thompson right now. And he is on the chip, baby.
Yeah, he has no patience for anybody. Connor Ryan.
Okay. Only separated by about 4.5 seconds right now from the lead.
It is Summers and Nolden up in front, but the man who's on a charge is Manuel Hoyer. Yeah.
Go on board with him here.
And
just outside of the toe.
You'll see the pass being made up front, though, as they do the little leapfrog, as Nolden now does a little dance step. He's back in front. The gap from Summers back to Hoyer, well, just under 1 second. You can see the number. Boy, he really closed it up through the southern loop. Morris and Dove in 4th and 5th. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, the southern loop, man, it's different for everybody, Sue. It's either a spot to gain a lot of time for some drivers or lose a bunch of it for others. And, you can definitely see that when somebody makes a big gain like that. A lot of fun up front, but Hoyer is still closing.
Let's drop back just a few positions to 5th. This is Sarah Dove and Ryan Walker. And this is fun. Remember, Dove was your leader for a while. Walker's been having a good run. He qualified in 10th. He's up, or was gridded in 10th, up 4 spots. But coming, it won't be long until Josh Thompson gets to these 2 guys. And he is not going to have a lot of patience for this battle that these 2 are having amongst themselves. Dove coming out of 11 now, heading into Swan. I believe Walker's going to have a run, but it won't be long, Sean, till Thompson is there. Especially if they go too wide down the straight.
Right, exactly.
Pass made by Walker.
Yeah, that just
back to 6th.
That just makes them slower. Connor Ryan got a nice toe down the front straight there from Josh. But Josh is definitely closing suit now. Just under a second there to Sarah Dove.
So we'll keep an eye on that. And honestly, those guys, Walker and Dove, not that far behind Daniel Morris in 4th. Up front right now, who's decided to lead? And I guess they've decided that Summers can be out in front for now. Summers and Nolden. Just under a second for Hoyer. He's been having a hard time getting much closer than that second gap.
Sorrow of more trouble. Oh, it was out of Siberia. You remember earlier in the feature race I mentioned sometimes Siberia can be very, very challenging. Getting back to the throttle, it bit her. She gets the car around, and by the time she gets it going, she's out in the middle of traffic coming by. James McRitchie, Ali Hay just behind her now. Urka Lindstrom and Jason Plato. That's going to drop Sarah all the way back to 15th, Soup.
Bad news for Sarah Dove, and also bad news for Charlie Summers and Kerry Nolden, because it's one less car for Josh Thompson to have to negotiate. Thompson now in 6th. Ryan Walker next on his hit list in 5th.
Hoyer seems to have stalled out a bit, Soup.
Yep. He had been coming. Maybe he used up his stuff, but we documented it. It's that gap now from Summers back to Hoyer, 0.8 of a second. He's really good. Charlie Summers has a horrible Southern Loop experience.
Yeah.
You've taken an interesting racing line that explores the outside boundaries of the track.
You've inspired me. I want to make T-shirts that say, "Have you enjoyed your Southern Loop experience today?"
Yeah,
be a big seller at the track.
Well, now all that we were talking about the problems that Hoyer was having, that's gone now. He's there.
Yeah, forget that. The rumors of his demise have been greatly over-exaggerated. What's not being over-exaggerated, though, is the run that Josh Thompson's having. Still in 6th, still chasing Ryan Walker, but Soup, it's just about, the battle's just about over. He's all but caught him here. He's up 21 spots, trying to get into the top 5. I still think he has an outside chance at maybe getting in the podium here. He's only 3.4 seconds behind Manuel Hoyer right now.
And remember, here at GSRC, we make a point about talking best of day because we think that's an important part of this format. And look, we'll talk about that in a minute because here comes Hoyer. Gobble, gobble, gobble. Summers is just eating up Hoyer now up into 2nd. So let's talk about Hoyer's teammate. Best of day honors. He won the feature race. Glenn Key, he's worked his way up into the top 10. Probably has enough time to get to Evan Imre. Don't know if he'll be able to get to Kessler.
Well, he's around Imre.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he got it. It was quick. He got it. Yeah, Soup, I was going to say, that best of day segment new to this season for us with the AOR. And, well, frankly, we just did it so I'd have a little bit more time in the in the pre-race. So Thompson all over the gearbox now at Ryan Walker. Oh, and he's going to get by him really quick down here into MG. What a run down out of Lukey Heights. Still trying to get the grip under him as he got back to the throttle. Thompson with another spot now in the top 5. Watch out, Daniel Morris. Here he comes.
One of our old commentators on GSRC, Kevin Brown, used to talk about passing places on this track. I think Glenn Key talked about it as well. Any part on the track is a passing zone for Josh Thompson right now. Up into 5th. Well, probably have enough time to get to Morris. I don't think he'll be able to run down the guys up front.
Yeah, I mean, Summers has got really solid pace right now, Sue. Still holding that gap at about 3.5 seconds. Oh, going to Hoyer.
All right, now he's right on the back of Nolden as they head down into the MG corner. He is in position, Sean, if he wants it. I don't know if he'll have the lead at the start-finish line, but he'll have the lead probably going into Duhan.
I think Hoyer can wait here. But that being said, he's got to watch out for Charlie pulling a sneak attack on both of them and trying to get 2 for 1.
Summers falling a little bit back. He might just be laying back to get a good run. Oh, I'm sorry. Now they go down into the MG corner. I misidentified that last time. Now out of here. Manuel, if you want the lead, it's yours for the taking. And my gut tells me I think he likes it. Don't know if he'll get there before this lap is finished. He does not. Well,
yeah, Hoyer's going to go to the lead briefly here. Oh, what a fight in the Duhan, side by side. Both flat out here. Now getting down to the gearbox. Hoyer gets the spot.
Just so you know, do you want to mark it down? Nolden came across 2 1/1000ths of a second ahead of Hoyer at the start-finish line, according to iRacing timing and scoring. Just keep that. Mark it down. That could be the kind of pass that you see. Oh, look at this. He's coming back on him in Honda.
Yes, behind them, Josh Thompson just passed Daniel Morris for 4th. So
2.8 seconds to get to Charlie Summers in 3rd.
Do we have a ship in the harbor, Sue?
Elaborate. I'm a little... Sorry about that.
I thought we had a ship in the harbor out there letting us know they were coming in. Man, I
would deal with that, but I can't seem to find that ship right now, so it's going to keep ringing.
Okay, so here's the deal. We got just under 5 minutes left, about 4 laps to go. Thompson has now gotten up to 4th. The gap to Summers, 2.7 seconds. He just had the fastest lap around the track. Not the fastest lap around the race, but that was the fastest lap out of the leaders. He is on the way. The podium just in sight. He can taste it.
4.5 minutes of racing to go. Hoyer, Nolden. Hoyer finished 2nd in the feature race. Nolden sat on the pole. They race 1-2 right now. Oh, no! It's deja vu all over again. I've been asked not to talk about it, so I won't. I'll give the honors to Sean Crackers Ambrose. Go ahead.
Charlie has had a problem, and he's dropped from our timing and scoring. Wow. I think one of your aliens decided to make a visit here today and have dropped down and get it, but that's moved Josh Thompson into a podium spot. And just 3.6 seconds behind Nolden. I don't know if that's enough time. We've got about 3 laps left here as they'll get to the line. Hoyer with a great run out of Swan. Nolden with maybe even a better one.
A little late. Let's see if he forces. He is going to force the issue. He did not own the lap, but he's going to own the corner. 3.5 minutes of racing to go. What I think we're looking at.
Nolden's got it.
This one and 2 more.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, Soup. There are, we're working on 3 of the last laps here.
Here's the good news for Hoyer and Nolden. It's 4 seconds back to Thompson. So pretty much, unless these guys just let the nonsense take over, and should be able to get there.
That's very possible that the nonsense may take over. If they get side by side, anything can happen here.
We'll monitor that gap. 3.7 seconds back.
I'll tell you what, Ryan Walker is not safe in 4th. Daniel Morris is right there. That might be a good battle to the finish.
Yeah, I think it will be.
Kessler, he did pass Morris a couple laps ago. Now it's Ryan just behind him, and I'm sorry, Connor Ryan and Kessler just behind them in a little tussle of their own. Kessler trying to hang on to that 6th spot right now.
Yes, I don't think Walker and Morris need to worry about each other. They need to worry about Patrick Kessler, who is coming. That Swiss driver is on the move. Let's go up front. Here comes a pass for the lead. Nolden took his half out of the middle. He's going to force the driver to take it around the top side. Hoyer does it. Nolden went right down the middle, said, Manuel, you can go left of me or right of me. But either way, you're going to have to do it close to the track boundary. The gap, 3.7 seconds back to Thompson. I think Thompson has got as far as he could. We'll stay now on the leaders.
Yeah, this will be the white lap when they come around. They're out of MG now. Here's Super in the last couple of turns.
They come out of Siberia now, heading up into Lukey Heights. The gap about 2 car lengths. I don't think this is where Kerry wants to force the issue. No need to do it here. You can just close up, and that's what he does. Up the hill, a car length apart. Now you have to start doing the math. Where do I want to be on the last lap? They head down. Does Nolden want to force the issue here? Or just lay back and try it on the white flag lap? They come out of the final corner. Nolden's too far back to make the move. I think he's going to wait.
Okay, Hedgecock right here in front of him. This is going to be... Jeez. Oh, he does a good job of staying out to the left, but look at this. It's opening up for Nolden.
Nolden has to be careful that he doesn't lose it all here. He doesn't need to make the pass. He just needs to make sure in attempting the pass, he doesn't fall off the pace. It doesn't happen, but that really doesn't matter. He's 2 car lengths back as they head down into Honda. Watch him close up. The British driver will gain here when the accordion effect takes into effect. They get in there, and now the Austrian driver should be able to get on the gas first and pull away. Oh, he does a good job out of Honda. The gap increases. They go through Siberia. Now this is where you can't make a mistake if you're Nolden. The gap, 3 car lengths back. There's a bit of a toe here. He can pull up. They have to feather the throttle through this section. At least I do. They head on up. Careful. They're going to dive down into the MG corner now. This is a passing zone if you want to force it, but you don't need to. What you got to do if you're Kerry Nolden is make sure you're in good position here. And he looks to be. You might be too far back now. But watch the run that he'll get. They're out of Swan. Nothing but the checkered flag in front. Nolden, 2 car lengths back. I think it's going to be too little too late.
Yep. Where gets the win.
Positive Sim Racing Green wins both ends of the doubleheader. This time it's Manuel Hoyer.
Wow, and I'll tell you what, it was a dogfight for 4th all the way back through about 7th. Glenn Key's going to go home in 8th. Emre just comes across in 9th. Matteo Coppola going to round out the top 10. Sarah Dove going to hang on there for 12th after her trouble suit. Not a bad day.
And the last scoring points, it's Robert Sugar Plumley comes across in 16th, a tick ahead of Stuart Mill, who will finish outside the points. The racing is over here at Phillip Island, but you know that our broadcast is far from done. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back to run down the entire finishing order of the sprint race, talk to some of the drivers before we put a lock on this Australian gate. Back in a few. watching the Global Sim Racing Channel's coverage of the Apex Online Racing's Formula Renault 2.0 Season 10 Championship. The feature races in the books, the sprint races in the books. Let's give you the finishing order of that latter event right now. It was the positive Sim Racing green driver. His teammate won the feature. He wins the sprint. Manuel Hoyer was able to hold off Kerry Nolden. Josh Thompson had a great run from 27th to get the final podium spot. Ryan Walker and Daniel Morris had a great battle. Walker getting the best of that one. Patrick Kessler doing the best that they could for Sim RC, not their best day. Ryan Connor comes home in 7th. Glenn Key has a chance maybe for best of day honors, but I really think that's going to go to his teammate Manuel Hoyer when the math is all done. Evan Emre comes home in 9th. And how about this? Mattia Coppola rounds out your top 10. Sean?
All right, Soup, and then we'll go back to 11th. It's going to be Jason Plato. Sarah Dove with a 12th place finish. Urka Lindstrom, 13th. There's Renee Osterkamp in 14th. Ali Hay, 15th. Robert Sugar Plumley, 16th, and that was a good day for him. Soup, he picked up a bunch of spots to get there. Stuart Milne, tough day for him. He'll finish 17th. John Roberts, 18th. Adam Hitchcock, 19th. And rounding out the top 20, Thomas Andriami Harasoa.
Then we get to the sad news here. Now, Charlie Summers does have his internet gremlins behind him, so we can put that story to bed. But unfortunately, it was the blue screen of death that got him today. He comes home in 21st out of the points. Ahead of James McRitchie, Tom Van Hoyman, Phil Reed. He got caught up in that early incident. He will not score points in this sprint race. Thomas Edward, Shiri Mojak, Scott Newton, and rounding out the field, Josh Ladd. All right, there you have the 28 names that finished now. Let's go to the interviews. Sean, who are you going to talk to?
Well, we'll start out with Josh Thompson. Going to bring him in and talk to him about his race. What an amazing run through the field, Josh. I just asked you in chat. I'll just ask you here in the interview room. What happened? Why did you start at the back of the field?
Glenn last week in frustration protested me, so I got a warning, and because I had a warning from Monza for something with white lines, I got given a back of the grid start, which I found a bit stupid, to be honest.
Boy, that was such a great battle between you and Glenn last week.
He was totally cool with it. I spoke to him on Saturday after, and he was absolutely fine about it. But obviously, he protested it on Friday when red mist was down and after losing a race. So.
The red mist was involved. Okay, all right. Everything makes sense. You see, protests, there should be a 24-hour period before you can even make one, in my opinion.
Yep.
Let guys cool down just a bit. But Josh, that's probably one of the more incredible drives we've seen. Certainly the most incredible drive we've seen this season, but in all the seasons we've covered, you guys. That was pretty amazing. What was the key to getting up through the field? Because they didn't just all move over for you.
And to be honest, I probably could have won the race. If I didn't get taken out and was facing backwards in the gravel trap at the start, because someone decided to make it 3 wide, diving it down the middle and punting me, I would have been all right. But no, it was just constant. With this track, with how the toe works, I figured out I need to get one, if it was a group, I need to get one done on the lap in like the hairpins, for example, because there's quite a big toe up to the hairpins. My place where I felt like I was doing a lot of my overtakes was through MG and down into there. Could get quite a few done down there, did 2 or 3 down the inside into there. So, well, then having my car trimmed out a lot, like how I designed my setup for this week, I knew what it was like from previous seasons. So I had it trimmed out, so on the main straight, I could drive past people, so I'd gain 2 or 3 in a lap, which worked out really well, especially in the sprint.
Well, listen, bud, it was a lot of fun watching you. We've got a lot of people that want to talk to us today, so thanks for giving us a couple of minutes there, and we will catch you next week in Japan.
Yep, should be good. I'm going for a double lap.
All right, buddy. We'll see you then.
See you later.
All right, so there was Josh Thompson completing our podium today. Let's see, did we get carried?
I'm going to talk to Ryan Walker. Ryan Walker had a good points day. Comes home 4th here in the sprint race. Had an 11th place in the feature. Ryan, you got to be happy with the points when you add them all up.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with tonight, to be honest. I mean, it's probably the best results I've had in the Formula Renault on AOR so far this season, and it's a lot better than I was expecting expecting to do. But P9 and I think it was P9 in race 1 and P4 in race 2. So yeah, I'm pretty over the moon with that.
Yeah, nice little battle with Daniel Morris here in the sprint race at the end.
Yeah, I was trying everything to get by him, but because I had a little bit too much downforce on the rear, I couldn't really keep up with him on the straights. But as soon as I caught up to him on the home straight towards the end of the race, I just thought I've got to go for it and make a move and try and get by him and then try and pull away. But as soon as I got by, I lost grip on the rear tyres, which allowed him to keep up with me. So yeah, had an awesome battle with Daniel, and yeah, that was just awesome fun. But yeah, absolutely exhausted, as you can tell by my voice.
Speaking of voice, where's that accent from?
Scotland.
All right, I have connections with the GSRC stat boys, or actually the graphic department. Do you want them to put up a Scottish flag on the overlays?
Yeah, that would be.
All right, we can do that. We're not sure how the UK works over there. Who has to fly the Union Jack and who doesn't? But we'll give you a Scottish flag. Congratulations on the good points day today.
Thanks, guys, and good job in the broadcast as always.
All right, Ryan Walker, a 9th place in the feature and a 4th here in the sprint. Sean, who you got?
I got Connor with a good finish today. 7th. He started back at 11th and got it inside the top 10. Connor, that was a crazy race, wasn't it?
Sure was, yeah. It was just cars all over the place.
Yeah. Especially the first couple laps there, man. We couldn't keep track. There were guys spinning all over the place.
Yeah, it was just pretty crazy. I had to drive through all of it. But yeah, cars everywhere, like I said, so
yeah,
quite lucky to get through.
Didn't you get nicked on one of those incidents there in the very beginning?
I don't think so. There was a case where someone went off at turn 1 and rejoined right in front of me.
Right. Okay, that was
the closest as what it got. So I was quite lucky with all the incidents going on.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, it paid off for you. That's a really, really good result in what was a crazy race. Let me ask you, because it seems like people are split on Phillip Island. Some people really love it. Some people really don't love it. Where do you fall in Phillip Island?
Well, this is the first time driving it, so
okay.
But I do like the feel of it. It's not too bad. It depends if you got setup hooked up, really. I'm not really too sure. I'm a bit 50-50 on it.
All right. So your first race, what's your favorite part of the track then?
I'll say the first sector. It's nice and flowing when you get it right. So yeah, I prefer that bit.
Well, listen, we're glad we got a chance to talk to you today. We'll see you next week when we get going again. And anybody you'd like to thank just real quick?
I'd like to thank AOR for putting this on. Thanks to you guys for the broadcast, and thanks to Josh Thompson for helping me this week.
All right, buddy. Well, we will see you next week, and thanks again.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, there we go. And looks like Soup is run down the pit lane here and caught up with Evan Imre.
I had my choice to talk to Sarah Dove, but my heart just wasn't in it. I don't think my rest of my night would be ruined by the sadness of her spinning out of the lead again. So this guy will always get in a better move. Let's talk to Rolling Thunder. Evan Imre, you were up front for a while in the sprint race.
Yeah, I was up in second at one point, and then I gradually fell backwards, as always. But had an incident with Stuart Milne on lap 2, but it was quite close into turn 1. But I came out the better end of that. Ended up in the top 10, so it was a fairly good result considering what happened in the first race, where I spun on the first lap and pitted on the first lap.
The first race was an ugly one. You are a bit. We're 4 races in now. You're getting a feel for your season. Happy the way things are going so far?
Well, it's quite average at the moment, as it has been in the past 3 seasons now. Because we've got many good drivers on the grid now that it's difficult for me to pick up places. Because with me, I pick up places for people crashing out, so that's my speciality. But being consistent and finishing is what gets you a good championship position in the end. So.
Right, for
Evan. Oh, I'm sorry, Soup. Go ahead.
For every Mark Usher you lose or Slovasi, you pick up a Glen Key, so it seems like you just tread water.
Exactly. And talking at Glen Key, he's randomly found a second or so the past few weeks, and he was that finish last week, if you remember, that 1,000th of a second. He nearly won the sprint race, and then he ended up winning the feature race tonight. So he's found good pace, and other highlights was Osterkamp having his worst night I think he's had for a really long time. He only got like 2 points from the whole night, which is unreal.
Won't be a whole lot of people crying about that one. Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, no, Evan, I wanted to ask you real quick before we let you go. Do you guys miss your favorite whipping boy in practices on Thursday?
Well, in some ways I do, in some ways don't, right? And I like crashing into you on purpose, but then when you get in my way on my fast lap, then I have mixed feelings towards Sean Ambrose.
Thanks, Evan. I appreciate that, buddy.
It's all right. Yeah. So we go on. Yeah. Did I will ask you guys a question? Were you able to understand Ryan Walker in your last interview?
Yeah, he's fine. Come on.
Because
probably not as well as you, but yeah.
I'm from Scotland as well, but I'm nearer to the English border, so my Scottish accent isn't as strong as Ryan. But Ryan was trying really hard to.
Okay, sounds like I'm going to get this figured out once and for all. How does the UK work? Does Scotland get to have your own flag, but you're part of the UK? I'm in California. I still have to fly the United States. I don't get to fly my golden bear
Soup,
flag.
they've been fighting. They've been fighting over this for centuries. Okay, I told you. We got to avoid the international incident.
All right. I don't care. I'm putting up Scotland, but I'm not putting up Wales. See, I don't understand. Okay. Okay.
Well, we all have our own flags, but we're all part of the Union as it is. So Scotland's got a population of 5 million, England 55 million. So
we're going to get into this later because we're way over. And then we go to the World Cup where it's England has their team, but I guess that does if you're Welsh, do you not get to be on that team? I don't know how it works. All right,
no,
we'll talk later.
No, we hate the English.
International incident. Here we go. It started. All right.
Let's get him out of here before we get to start a war. Evan Emery had a good race today. Good look to see him later. Before we cause any more trouble, let's get this out of here. Thanks to everybody at Apex Online Racing for organizing the Formula Renault 2.0 League and for all the members who support this broadcast. We know you have a lot of choices when you fly. Thanks for flying GSRC. The company's equipment and software you see on the screen right now that we use on the broadcast. Couldn't do it without them. And the original music that gets every GSRC production that unique flavor and feel is thanks to Eric Eckelm and June Lalonde. See the screen for how to contact each of them. Sean?
The AOR returns in 1 week, Friday. Is that right? July the 13th? It's Friday, July the 13th. Yeah. Suzuka International Racing Course. Maybe Charlie Summers will actually have better luck on Friday the 13th. GSRC will be there to bring you all the action. We hope you join us, folks. If you'd like more information about us, the Global Sim Racing channel, including a complete list of future broadcasts, you can find them at our website, globalsimracingchannel.com. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook. If you just type in Global Sim Racing Channel, you'll find us there.
You know who's going to have an advantage next race is going to be the guys from Australia because they'll be racing on Saturday, July 14th. So I think they just naturally should be luckier than the guys racing on Friday the 13th. That's my own thought. Finally, on behalf of the man whose voice you just heard, Sean Ambrose, our director, Joe Peak, and our camera artist, Ducky Beard, I'd like to thank all of you for putting up with this broadcast and watching it to the very end. And with that said, personal happy birthday to Francis out there, and we're off to have fun storming the castle. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.